Imagine for a second a professional boxer. They spend 4 years in an intense training camp. They learn every combination, they master their footwork, and they win a major title. And then they just stop training. They stop sparring, they stop running, they sit on the couch for 2 years, and they wait for a promoter to call them with a championship fight. If they stepped into the ring that night, they would get absolutely destroyed. But for some reason, actors do this every single day. We take a 3-week intensive, or we spend 3 years getting a university degree in acting, and then we just stop. We print our certificate, we update our resume or CV, and we sit by the phone waiting for HBO to call. Today, we're going to talk about why acting is not a desk job. It is a professional sport. I'm going to break down exactly how you need to stay acting fit, why your training is never actually finished, and how to make sure you are lethal the second that big audition finally comes in. Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Andrew. I'm an actor, an author, and a virtual filmmaker. On this channel, we break down the mindset, the tech, and the strategies that you need to take absolute control of your acting and creative career, so you never have to wait for a gatekeeper to give you permission to act or to make art. If you want to join the community, hit subscribe, drop a like, and let's get into the athlete mindset. There is a very dangerous misconception in our industry that acting is like riding a bike. Once you know how to do it, you just have it forever. But that is completely false. Acting is a muscle. It requires extreme emotional availability, vocal dexterity, and the ability to instantly drop into a highly specific imaginary circumstance. If you do not stretch that muscle, it atrophies. It gets rusty. If you've ever gone to the gym, you know that you can work out every day for months, but the minute you stop going to the gym, the muscles or fitness start to disappear. And if you were suddenly offered an opportunity to run a marathon or take part in a fitness challenge, you would fail if you were no longer working out. When you get an audition for a massive, life-changing role, you usually have about 48 hours to prepare. Now, if you haven't memorized a script, broken down a scene, or genuinely connected with a scene partner in 6 months, you're going to spend the first 24 hours of that prep time just trying to knock the rust off. You'll walk into the room or hit record on your self-tape, feeling stiff, self-conscious, and entirely in your head. You cannot get ready on the day of the game. You have to stay ready. So, how do we stay acting fit? Well, the absolute best non-negotiable way is to be in regular, ongoing acting classes. Like a professional runner has a permanent track coach, you need a permanent gym for your emotions. I'm not talking about taking a quick weekend workshop on how to book commercials. I mean a rigorous, ongoing scene study or method class or Meisner class where you are putting up work every single week. A place where you can fail safely. I personally currently do 3 classes a week, and I've been doing so for years now. And I don't intend to stop unless something in my circumstances make me. When you're in a weekly class, your instrument is constantly warm. Your memorization muscle is sharp. When a surprise audition drops on your lap on a Thursday night, you don't panic because you literally just broke down a 4-page scene on Tuesday. And you know what? Do some deep research into even the A-list actors. They all have acting coaches. Some of them might no longer need their coaching regularly because they're constantly working, so they stay in practice. But when they have a big break between projects, they're all training. But I also know that weekly classes can be expensive, and sometimes you're between studios. So what else should you be doing to get your reps in? You can practice what I call genre agility. Now, most actors have one default gear. They might be really good at grounded, moody drama. But what happens when you get an audition for a fast-paced, multicam sitcom? Or a highly stylized Aaron Sorkin-style legal thriller? If you haven't trained in those rhythms, you'll fail that audition. To stay fit, you should, for example, be reading scripts out loud in your living room. Go online, download the pilot script for Succession, the pilot for The Office, and the pilot for The Last of Us. Read them out loud. Feel the difference in the pacing. Film yourself on your phone doing a monologue in 3 completely different genres. You have to shock your system, the exact same way a runner does interval sprints instead of just jogging the same mile every day. But if you want to know the ultimate form of resistance training for an actor in 2026, it's not just rehearsing in your bedroom. It is shooting your own cinematic scenes. The technology exists for us to be creating our own content, and not just rubbish videos and blank wall monologues, but actual scenes. I've spoken about this before. This is the entire reason I created the Unlimited Reels workflow, because virtual production is an incredible marketing tool to get you an agent or to get you an audition, but secretly, it is also the best acting training tool in the world. When you decide to shoot a scene for yourself, you have to do the wardrobe, you have to set the lights, you have to generate the 3D environment, but most importantly, you have to step in front of that lens and deliver a performance that holds up to broadcast standards. You are giving yourself game day pressure. You are forcing yourself to stay razor sharp for the camera. If you shoot one high quality cinematic scene for yourself every single month, or even once a week, you will be miles ahead of the actor who is just sitting around waiting for the phone to ring. And finally, the last way to stay fit is to cross-train your storytelling brain in other mediums. As actors, we spend so much time analyzing other people's writing. If you want to deeply understand a character motivation, try writing a character yourself. Even if you don't understand the writing process or techniques, you don't have to be brilliant. If you want to learn, there are plenty of resources teaching writing. But for your purpose, just create characters. Create them the same way you would analyze a character for an acting role. Write a scene. It might be sloppy, but it'll force you to figure out character motivation, plot points, beats, actions, all things you need to be able to do really quickly when an audition or a role comes along. When I sit down to write a scene in my novel, I'm using the exact same muscles I use to act. I have to figure out what they want, what their tactics are, and what the stakes are. Writing makes me a sharper actor, and acting makes me a more grounded writer. It all feeds the same machine. So don't let your talent get rusty. Go audit a scene study class this week. Download a script from a genre you hate and read it out loud. And if you want to turn your bedroom into the ultimate cinematic training gym so you can shoot your own high-end scenes and keep your on-camera skills lethal, the link to the Unlimited Reels Masterclass is right down there in the description. Also, if you want to see how my acting training translates into my writing, I'm giving away the first 5 chapters of my novel Riftcaster completely for free. That link is in the description too. You need to stay sharp. If you're not on a regular film set or a TV studio, then you need to use some of your free time to train your actor's muscles. You don't want your muscles to give in the minute you're offered a marathon. Okay, I want to know your routine. Drop a comment below and tell me, what is the one weird thing that you do to stay acting fit between auditions? Keep training. Treat it like a sport. And I'll see you in the next video.